Before I tell you what the matriarch of the Jackson family finally said after her son's biopic won favorite movie, a moment that has the entire world watching, hit that subscribe button right now, because this is the reaction that matters more than any award. Did you watch what happened last night? The Michael Jackson biopic just shattered every expectation, crossing $1 billion globally and taking home favorite movie at the World Choice Awards. But while the world celebrated, one voice remained silent until now. Here's the thing. Katherine Jackson is not just any grandmother. She's the matriarch of pop's first family, the woman who raised the king of pop and the grounding force of the entire Jackson legacy. She spent decades praying over a legacy the world constantly debates. When Jaafar was first cast, she gave the ultimate endorsement, saying simply that he embodies her son. But when the film won big, would she finally speak? And then she did, but not in the way you'd expect. Katherine didn't give a press conference. She didn't post on social media. Instead, she did something far more powerful. According to sources close to the family, when Jaafar visited her after the award win, she pulled him into a hug and whispered words that washed away every doubt he'd ever had. Jaafar himself revealed in an interview, "When I had that moment where she just hugged me and said how proud she was and how excellent I did in the film, that really kind of washed everything away. That's all that mattered." The highest compliment he could ever receive wasn't from critics or fans. It was from his grandmother. Now here's what makes this even more incredible. Katherine's reaction wasn't just about the award. It was about seeing her son again. Producer Graham King visited Katherine at her home before filming began and showed her Jaafar in full hair and makeup. The 95-year-old was moved to tears and said simply, "That's Michael." King described it as one of the highlights of his career. For a woman who has spent decades protecting her son's legacy, her response was never about critical scores. It was about recognition, a grandmother seeing her son's face again, carried by her grandson. And when the film won favorite movie, that recognition became something even more profound. It became validation that the world still loves her son as much as she does. Don't click away, because what Katherine said next is the part that even the tabloids haven't reported, and it involves a message directly to the family members who oppose the film. Here's the final twist. While the Jackson family remains divided, with Janet and Randy Jackson refusing to participate, and Paris Jackson calling the film a lot of full-blown lies, Katherine has chosen a different path. She's remained above the fray, quietly grateful that her grandson brought her son back to life on screen. Sources say she told Jaafar after the award, "Your uncle is smiling down on you, and so am I." For a woman of faith who has spent decades praying over a legacy the world constantly debates, that was enough. She didn't need to defend the film to critics. She didn't need to argue with family members. She just needed to see her son's face again and know that the world still loves him. So what happened after Michael won favorite movie? Jaafar Jackson's grandmother finally broke her silence, and she reminded the world that some things matter more than awards. It was never about box office numbers or critical acclaim. It was about a grandmother seeing her son's legacy carried forward by her grandson. And in that moment, everything else faded away. If this story gave you chills, hit that subscribe button right now. I'm tracking every single moment of the Jackson family's journey, and next week I'll reveal the one thing Katherine said that made Jaafar break down in tears. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an update. And remember, sometimes the greatest validation doesn't come from the world. It comes from family.